What's going on, guys? I've had about a week to marinate on all the Comic Con reveals, so now I'm ready to give my thoughts. Overall, it ended up being a pretty solid Comic Con as far as reveals go. It was pretty tame until the very end, but I always respect a fake out like that. Just to recap, we got some new details for Captain America Brave New World, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, and then Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars with Robert Downey Jr. returning to play Victor Von Doom. Obviously, the Avengers reveals were the big kickers. Had we not got those and the Doctor Doom reveal, I think most people probably would have said it was kind of a dud. Alright, so for Captain America 4 or Brave New World, we got the Giancarlo Esposito character reveal. He's going to be playing Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society, which is kind of interesting. I follow some other comic channels and check in on rumors going around. I was fully expecting him to play George W. Bridge, so this was a big surprise to me. Hopefully he ends up having some kind of powers. I looked him up and he apparently wears like a cloak that allows him to teleport. That could be cool if he has that in the movie. Giancarlo Esposito said no one would guess who he was playing, and he ended up being right. I don't think anyone called that really, but looking back, since we knew the Serpent Society was going to be in the movie, I'm surprised nobody guessed that actually. I'm just hoping some of these Serpent Society characters have like actual powers. So far, Captain America 4 just feels like it's filled with a bunch of characters who don't really have any powers, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know we're getting Red Hulk, and then Isaiah Bradley has a version of the Super Soldier Serum. So at least that's like two superpowered characters. And then the return of the Samuel Stearns leader character from the Incredible Hulk movie. He doesn't have powers per se, but the gamma radiation is supposed to have given him super intellect. So that qualifies, I guess. But yeah, just knowing Red Hulk is in the movie, it feels a little weird that there's no one like super powered to go up against him, really. Unless Bruce Banner Hulk is in it or some other Hulk or something that we just don't know about yet. But then at that point, is it even a Captain America movie? I don't know. I'm rambling here. Overall, I'm mildly looking forward to this movie. I do think Sam should probably have the super soldier serum though. It's just kind of hard for me to believe that a normal human could throw the shield hard enough to like cause any real damage to anything. From what I've seen online, fans are about half and half on that. Some think he should have the serum, others think he doesn't need it. I have a theory that he'll get really badly injured at some point in the movie and he'll need like a blood transfusion from Isaiah Bradley, which would finally make him a proper super soldier. I think that would be kind of cool. That way him becoming a super soldier is like more of a necessity to save his life. I don't know, that could be a nice compromise for the fans maybe. Having him already have earned the Captain America title without the serum first and then getting it in the end. But yeah, it is sick to finally get the leader character. I wonder what group he'll actually be a part of though now. In the comics it's Intelligentsia, but there is a bunch of factions he could be involved in. Masters of Evil, Serpent Society that we already know is in the movie. AIM, Hydra could return. Who knows? Or it could still be Intelligentsia. And then Red Hulk should be cool. It is a little weird to see Thunderbolt Ross without a mustache, but I do totally get it. Because I've literally been wondering for years, like if they were ever going to do Red Hulk in live action, what they would do had he kept a mustache. Like, does it disappear when he hulks out? Or does it get separated and it's just like a bunch of random tiny hairs all over his upper lip? So ultimately, I think they made the right call, but it might take some getting used to. On to Thunderbolts. They brought out David Harbour as Red Guardian in a new suit. I definitely think it looks better than his suit in Black Widow, but I'm still struggling with the appeal of this movie. Personally, I'm not very interested at this point. The whole roster of characters are kind of lame. None that I'm a big fan of personally. They added an asterisk to the movie title, so people are speculating if it's going to get a name change or something. I'm just curious if the name change could happen in the marketing itself, like before the movie even comes out, or will the characters team up at the end and make their own team name in universe or their own team, you know. Could turn into Dark Avengers maybe, but my hope would be Masters of Evil, but I highly doubt it because Marvel movies have never had a big focus on straight up villains in their movies. So there's no way they'd make a whole movie just about villains. Plus, none of these characters are super evil anyway. They're all kind of that anti-hero type. If Baron Zemo was confirmed for this movie, I'd be a little more interested. He's one of the sickest villains in the comics to me, and they've hardly used him. I don't really get what's up with that. Then I think we're all assuming Red Hulk will be in it too, which is kind of cool, I guess. And Sentry is supposed to be in it too. He's cool. I'd assume the Thunderbolts team is tasked with taking somebody down, and then they end up teaming up with the one they're supposed to take out in order to defeat like a much worse villain. That's usually how these types of movies go. So maybe they're supposed to go after the Sentry, then they all team up to fight Red Hulk or something. I don't know, even that doesn't sound that cool to me for some reason. Unless they're teaming up to go against the Masters of Evil, led by Baron Zemo. Now we're talking. Then we got the Fantastic Four panel. I'm actually starting to get pretty hyped for this movie. I've always liked them as a team, and they have some great supporting characters and villains like Silver Surfer, Galactus, Doctor Doom. One update we got a subtitle for this movie, Fantastic Four: The First Steps, which makes sense. I didn't think it would get a subtitle at all, but I guess it helps differentiate it from the previous Fantastic Four movies. The cast is pretty solid. The Human Torch actor is the only one I'm not familiar with at all. I haven't seen him in anything, but I'm a fan of all the other actors. I saw the cast photo they released of the four of them. Johnny seemed to have a buzz cut, which I was a little concerned about. That's not exactly what Johnny Storm is supposed to look like, so I just hope he ends up wearing a wig in the movie. I know Chris Evans had a buzz cut when he played the Human Torch, but I didn't like that either, you know? I'm assuming Johnny will end up with a wig because if you look at the first concept art photo they released a few months back, he does have the longer blonde hair like he's supposed to. So that is a good sign. Then I know some people aren't too excited about Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards. I think he's a great actor, so I'm cool with it. I've never seen him in anything that I didn't enjoy his performance, and he definitely gives off that sort of dad family energy, which I think the character needs. Him being from another universe is kind of a smart way to bypass the problem of too many geniuses in one universe, because he's supposed to be the smartest man alive. But then you also got Tony, who's a genius, Doctor Doom is a genius, Shuri. There's so many other geniuses just in the 616 universe alone. So I just think it's nice to break a couple of them up in separate universes, at least for now. I think we're all assuming that they'll all be combined by the end of Secret Wars, but at least by then there will be a narrative reason for them to all be in one universe. But then as I had issues with the Human Torch actor's hair, I'm also a little concerned that Pedro seems to be keeping his mustache for the movie. He pretty much looks exactly like his Mandalorian character, Din Djarin, so that's kind of lame. I probably would have preferred he shaved it or at least like have a full beard like the John Krasinski version did. But I'm pretty sure they just started filming the Mandalorian and Grogu movie that he's also in, and I'd assume the movie will come up with a reason for Din Djarin to take his helmet off once or twice. So maybe that's why he's keeping the mustache? I don't know, I could be wrong. But I just feel like Pedro kind of has the same look in everything he's in. It's not a huge issue though, that's kind of a nitpick. I'm sure I can get over it, especially if the movie ends up being really good. And side note, if anyone hasn't seen the Fantastic Four animated series from the 90s, it's on Disney+. You should check it out. And not to get too technical, but the way they drew Reed in that, he's pretty tanned or like dark. So I think Pedro can totally match that look pretty well. All in all, what they showed for the Fantastic Four movie looked promising. And the whole 1960s retro futuristic setting is interesting and unique, so I'm overall really stoked for this movie. Also, my Lego collector brain is super excited for the potential of finally getting minifigs of the Fantastic Four team. That would be sick. Alright, and then the big kahuna of the whole presentation was the reveal of the next two Avengers movies, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Not only that, but the Russo bros are returning to film both, which is awesome. Some people online had scooped that they were returning like a week or two before, but it was sick to get that confirmation. I remember years ago the Russos had said that if Marvel were to ever do a Secret Wars movie, they wanted to be the ones to direct it. So I'm glad that they got to come back for the job. That would have been a bummer if it went to someone else. I think we were all kind of expecting the Secret Wars reveal, so Doomsday was really the big kicker. And then most of us figured Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty was going to get a total rework and title change, but I don't think anyone called Robert Downey Jr. coming back to play Victor Von Doom. At first I really didn't like that casting at all, to be honest. I figured RDJ would come back at some point, but obviously for Iron Man, not Doctor Doom. Though there is a chance he could be returning to play Iron Man as well, and maybe he has to sacrifice himself again to stop a Doom variant of himself or something. I don't know, that's just a random thought. Yeah, so I wasn't a huge fan of the casting at first, but like I said, after marinating on it for a week, I'm definitely a little more open to it now. And I know people will say, well, in the comics, there's a version of Doctor Doom who is Tony Stark. I know, but that's a newer comic, and obviously that's not the version of Doom that most people are familiar with. For me, there's 3 main character traits for Doctor Doom that I consider to be fundamental to the character. His name has to be Victor Von Doom, he has to be a master of both sorcery and technology, and he has to come from the fictional country of Latveria. As long as the MCU version of Doom has all 3 of those traits, then I think I'm down for it. The Russos called him Victor in the Hall H presentation, so that's promising, though he still could end up just being some kind of Tony Stark variant. Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom definitely have a few similarities, especially when it comes to their use and knowledge of technology, so that's why I'm trying to be open to it. I just hope RDJ's version of him doesn't look exactly like Tony Stark. Hopefully he won't have the same facial hair and personality and all that. Doom is one of my all-time favorite Marvel villains, so I just hope they show him the respect that he deserves, you know? I also hope that they don't pretend like Kang never existed at all. While I thought the writing for Kang, especially in Quantumania, was pretty terrible, he's still an important character and was set up to be one in this multiverse saga. So I still think he needs to have a part in these Avengers movies, or at least in Doomsday, even if it's a small part to wrap up his story. You could have Doom wipe the floor with him at the beginning, which would also help show how much of a threat Doom is. All in all, I thought it was a pretty solid Hall H, and I'm the most excited for Fantastic Four and then these Avengers movies, obviously. It feels good to be getting excited about Marvel again. I had kind of fallen off a bit in Phase 4 and 5, but after Deadpool and Wolverine and these reveals, the hype is definitely coming back. Let's just hope they can keep it up, and hopefully Cap 4 and Thunderbolts don't end up being duds. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about all these reveals. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!